All right, we're at the EV Drivers Social down here in Grand Rapids at the Tanger Outlets. There's a ton of Volta chargers, and I have James Morin with me. And tell us a little bit about the electric Mitten, and then what do you drive?
Yeah, so Carl, thanks for having me. Yeah, electricmitten.com, it's my website. I've been driving electric for 11 years, in 13. And it's just kind of, I talk about what it's like to own an EV in Michigan. I have a lot of connections at car dealerships, so they let me test drive stuff and bum around with those.
Yeah.
My daily is brand new to me. I just picked it up in December. It's a Tesla Model 3.
Awesome.
So I got the right before the update was announced, but I still got the tax credit. So
Yeah, you probably got a really good deal.
I did. I got a really, really good deal. Yeah.
That's awesome. But you were also involved in the Grand Rapids Auto Show?
It was, yeah.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, so for Showspan, who puts on the auto show, I was their EV consultant this year. Helped set up all the signage this year, arrange the cars. I just helped answer all the EV questions that they didn't know the answers to. So signage, set up the display, taking all the media questions about EVs so that they had somebody with experience.
And I understand we might be working together next year. Right?
I'm hoping if
I'm retiring from Consumers Energy.
That'd be awesome.
But then Dawn from Showspan.
Yeah.
So I mentioned it to her, and she said if we can work something out, maybe a tag team.
Yeah, I would have loved that. That'd be
Very
so cool.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good night.
What do you love about your EV?
I love a lot of things about this EV. I love the design of this particular Mach GT. Has to be red. What I really like about it too, I mean, besides just it being the most powerful, quickest car I've ever owned by an order of magnitude, is kind of the small kind of luxury things about it. I think like easy maintenance, for example, being able to refuel it at home. And then my favorite trick is to preheat the car in a closed garage, which you just can't do in a gas car. So increased utility in that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you had an EV before this, right?
I did. I had a lease on a Chevy Bolt, which was just fine. It provided all of my needs, and this one provides all of the wants.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Terrance.
Thanks for having me, Carl.
All right, here's my buddy Ken.
How's it going?
What are you driving?
I drive a 2018 Nissan LEAF.
And what else do you drive? Diesel.
Oh, I don't drive a diesel. I used to. I used to drive a diesel, but I have 2010 Nissan Armada. That's what my wife drives. And I drive a plow truck, and the plow truck is a gas. It's a Ford F350. And so I usually use that for hauling my camper. And
then once you get to the campsite, what do you do?
when I get to the campsite, I have my wife follow the camper with my car, the 2018 Nissan LEAF, and we drive everywhere with the car. We don't drive anywhere with the truck. Literally,
charge it at your campsite.
we charge it at the campsite, and so it's like we've got we share we split it between the camper and the charging. So we got to make sure we don't have a little bit too much in one or the other. But at nighttime we don't use any of the electronics much in the camper except for the air conditioner. So, I can have my car in full charge overnight. So in the morning, fully charged.
Yeah.
No problem.
And you're basically getting your fuel for free for running around.
I'm getting my fuel.
Well, it's included.
It's included because I'm still paying the site fee.
Site fee, yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm getting otherwise free travel. Where if I had my gas vehicle, I would be driving that and just consuming a ton of gas, and it gets expensive when you're camping.
Right.
We're the type of campers that we don't sit around the campfire all day. When we go camping, we find a campsite, and all throughout the day we travel between 100 to 200 miles each day when we're camping. So we kind of use the campground as a hub, and yep.
Yeah, so that's your cheap way to get around.
It's my cheap
So there's
way
no
to
reason you can't have a gas car and an electric car.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, the thing to remember about any vehicle is you own a vehicle for its purposes.
Yep, the use case.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm a school teacher in Greenville. I drive my EV to and from work every day. I actually don't really understand why other people wouldn't do that, because the amount of money that I'm saving. I did buy a used EV. It's going to save you a lot more money than buying one up front.
But there's even a tax credit now.
Tax credits are
used.
Yeah, for the used and even for the new.
Yep.
It doesn't make sense not to own an EV if you want to save money and the maintenance costs. One of the things that just kind of burned me up the other day was my wife's Armada. I've thrown so much money into that vehicle in the last 3 years. I think in the last 3 years, we've maybe have put 10,000 miles on it altogether. And I've had to replace the exhaust on it twice. And so this time around, I'm going to have to replace all of it, including the catalytic converters. That's going to end up running me close to $2,000 just for that. And the Armada has 180,000 miles on it. Yeah, I've had my car, the Nissan LEAF. I bought it at 35,000 miles, and I just rolled over today 110,000 miles.
How's the battery? 'Cause we always get that question. But the battery is going to be so expensive to replace.
I don't.
Do you expect to have to replace it?
I don't expect to have to replace it, at least not for my needs. I'll probably drive the car into the ground, just because as a commuter car, even if I get it down to only 40 miles, it's going to suit my needs, my family's needs, just by getting around to the grocery store and stuff like that. So I'll probably keep it for those reasons. And then, once it gets to the point where the battery is worn down, right now my car is at 80% of its battery capacity.
Okay.
So 80%, and Nissan Leafs, their batteries do degrade a little bit faster than like the Teslas.
Because they're air cooled.
They're air cooled. So unlike the Teslas that have the liquid cooling, their batteries generally tend to last a little bit, longer, a little bit better.
The one thing about the Leafs, though, there are companies out there that will replace the batteries.
That is correct.
So I was just out in California in that QC Charge.
Yep.
Brand new battery. I think they said between $8,000 and $10,000, and that sounds like a lot of money. But
Really,
at that point, you got a new car.
You got a brand new car. And it depends on how you're driving your vehicle. I mean, if there's really nothing that can really destroy the vehicle. They're not going to rust as much as a gas vehicle.
Certainly, the exhaust is not going to rust out because it doesn't have one.
But even just most people that have an EV, from my experience and talking with people, we wash our car just because of the fact that it has all the different cameras on it. We want to keep the car somewhat clean. So most people have a subscription to a car wash, and that keeps the car from getting, being in Michigan, the salt and stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know of too many EVs. At least I have never seen an EV that's a rust bucket.
Yeah.
I haven't.
And by the way, you can take EVs through a car wash. It's not a big deal.
Oh yeah, you can definitely take them through a car wash. So
All right. Well, thanks, Ken.
Of course.
All right.
Anytime.
All right. So we got Mike here. So Mike, what do you drive now?
I'm driving a 21 Bolt EV. This was the last generation before they went to the EUV. And it was a Premier. So it's decked out with, quite a bit of stuff on it.
I love the 360 camera thing, by the way. Premiere.
Which I got. And that has been a lifesaver. I'm not going to be shy about that. Push the button when you get into a parking lot, you see everything around you.
Yeah. I think it's actually kind of cool when you pull up to a charger and there's bollards in front because it's got the camera right on the nose.
Yes.
So that way you're not going to run into the bollard.
Yes.
Yeah.
The biggest weakness of a Bolt, in all honesty, was the charging speed.
The DC fast charging
Yes.
speed. Yeah, it's like 50
It's only
kilowatts.
50.
And then in the wintertime, if the battery gets cold, it's even worse
It's
than that.
even worse than that.
Yeah. But to be fair, for a regional car, for the range that it has, I think it's super value.
There is nothing better than a Bolt right now if what your primary use case is local driving.
Yeah. Or I would say even regional, like if you just make like one stop somewhere and come back. But it's
I've driven up to Cadillac before. I'll charge at a charge point station just on the south side of Cadillac. I'm perfect.
Yeah.
It's ideal.
Yeah. It's just if you were going to drive a car to like Florida or California, that might be a little tedious.
Now, I have family that lives in New Jersey where we used to live.
Yeah.
And I know every Electrify America charging station on I-80 going through Pennsylvania. The only issue is EA has a tendency to have chargers offline, so you have to be careful. But otherwise, like I said, the Bolt is a great vehicle for around the town.
But you just ordered another vehicle, so tell us about that.
I am awaiting delivery of a Model Y, a Tesla Model Y.
Awesome.
And I'll be honest, the reason why I'm getting the Model Y is for the charging network. We did a 2-week extended test drive. We rented one from Hertz, took it down into Tennessee, then into the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. And I was just astounded at the quality of the charging of the supercharger network and the cost and just the overall comfort level of the Y compared to the Bolt. I said, this is going to be our next vehicle. So when the lease is coming up, which it is now, I'm just awaiting the delivery of the Model Y, and I've got that now on a 3-year lease at a very affordable price.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
So, Ted,
Yeah,
what are you driving?
Tesla Model S.
And did you get the Plaid?
You know, I thought about the Plaid,
I have to tease him about this all the time.
but I wanted that extra 10 miles.
There you go. No, I
I'm
get
going
that.
without the Plaid.
Yeah. No, I have a Model Y long range.
Yeah.
Because performance would have been cool. I had a P85D and loved the acceleration, but yeah, I wanted the range. So I
Yeah.
totally get that.
Yeah.
So tell me again, you said there was some acceleration anomaly that you noticed.
Yeah, this is kind of new. I've noticed I've had the car for about 6 months. And passing vehicles when you're behind some slower vehicles, once you get into the throttle, say 60 or 70 for about a half second, it almost like the horsepower digs even deeper and just drops it a little bit more. And the next thing you know, you might be hitting triple digits pretty quick.
So you think maybe they nerfed it so that, you got to pay the extra money for a Plaid?
Maybe. I know they definitely nerfed it because my old P100D definitely had better low end because of the bigger motor in the back. But once I hit 50 or 60, this is faster. It really is.
Yeah.
I can feel it.
Okay. Now you take road trips up to the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan,
A few
which
times a
is
year.
which is not to be underestimated because there's not a lot of chargers, even Tesla chargers up there. So how do you do it?
Just use the Tesla chargers, but there is some level 2s, a few around there. And there is some new level 3s that are non-Tesla also that I've actually tested at the Meyer and Marquette.
So you have a CCS adapter? Yeah,
And
it
I've
comes
used the
in
one
handy.
Houghton as well, tested.
Okay.
Don't really need them. I use the Teslas for the most part, but
Yeah.
it's nice to know you have a backup.
And you have a house up there somewhere, right? With a level 2?
In Houghton with a 16 amp level 2.
Okay.
So
And are you on PlugShare? Are you sharing that?
yeah,
All right. So if you look on PlugShare,
it's in Houghton.
you might see Ted's residence. So
Yeah.
appreciate what you're doing.
Teddy-o.
Teddy-o. Okay. Well, thanks for what you're doing for the EV community. All right. Thanks, man.